So let's see what Wikipedia had to say. It says, Rambo 3 is a 1988 American action film. The film depicts fictional events during the Soviet war in Afghanistan. It is the third film in the Rambo series following First Blood and Rambo First Blood Part 2. It was a turn followed by Rambo in 2008, making the last film in the series to feature Richard Crenna as Colonel Samuel Troutman before his death in 2003. 65 seconds of the film were cut in the UK version for theatrical release. Some later video releases almost tripled the cuts. So this film was directed by Peter MacDonald, produced by Buzz Feitshans, Mario Kassar, and Andrew G. Vania. Screenplay was done by Sylvester Stallone and Sheldon Lettich. It's based on the characters by David Morrell, of course, starring Sylvester Stallone and Richard Crenna as the mains here. The music was done by the brilliant Jerry Goldsmith. Cinematographer John Stanier did the cinematography for this. And I just gotta say that recently, about a month ago, watching this again for the review, man, this movie just looks fantastic. I forgot how good it looked. Like, really, from the beginning to end, I forgot how good it looked. This film was edited by O. Nicholas Brown, Andrew London, James R. Siemens, Edward Warchilika. The production company behind this was Coralco Pictures, and you always know you're going to get something good when you see the Coralco logo in the beginning. Same thing goes for TriStar Pictures, because this was distributed by TriStar. I love the Pegasus logo they have as well, and I love the Rambo music for the Coralco Pictures. Every Coralco movie had that great Rambo score in there. The release date for this was May 25th, 1988. So 27 years ago today. Or 2028. Maybe I got that wrong. Sorry if I did get that wrong, but I've been listing it as, 27. Running time is 102 minutes. So this is an hour and 42 minutes. Country of release was United States. Language this was released in was English, of course. The budget for this film was $62 million, and the box office for this film was $189 million. So there's no reason why this didn't get a sequel back in the day, because this was fucking gargantuan. Alright, let's just see some of the cast here. Sylvester Stallone as John J. Rambo, Richard Crenna as Colonel Samuel Troutman, Kurtwood Smith as Robert Griggs, and Mark DeJong as Colonel Zysan. Those are the main people on board. And for the rest, please see the slide cast. So some critics noted during production that the timing of this movie, with its unabashedly anti-Soviet tone, ran afoul of the opening of communism to the West under Mikhail Gorbachev, which had already changed the image of the Soviet Union to a substantial degree. By the time the movie was finished in by the time that movie was finished, the 1990 actual Guinness World Records deemed Rambo 3 the most violent film ever made, with 221 acts of violence, at least 70 explosions, and over 108 characters killed on screen. Citation needed. However, the body count of the fourth film in the series, Rambo, surpassed that record with 236 kills. The Mi-24 Hind D helicopters seen in the film are in fact modified Aerospatiale SA-330 Pumas, transport helicopters with fabricated bolt-on wings, similar to the real Hind DS, which were, mainly used in the former Soviet bloc nations. The other helicopter depicted is a slightly reshaped Aerospatiale Gazelle. Pre-2001 versions of the film ended with the quote, "This film is dedicated to the brave Mujahideen fighters of Afghanistan." This quote was later changed to "the gallant people of Afghanistan" in re-releases following the September 11th attacks and the United States invasion on Afghanistan. Many Mujahideen fighters formed allegiance with Al-Qaeda during the Civil War after the Soviet withdrawal from Afghanistan. And what else is true about that is I do believe, just as in the case of Rambo 4 with Tint, I do believe one of these members in here, or maybe a few, were actual Mujahideen. I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy who's like, "Please don't go," and tells Rambo why they need time to prepare for this type of mission to save Troutman. So the filming schedule, the movie was shot between August 1987 and December 1987. Shooting locations, this movie was shot mainly in Thailand and Israel. The scene in the Buddhist monastery was shot in Chiang Mai, Thailand. Some scenes were filmed in Bangkok, Thailand, while others were shot in Eilat, Arad, Jaffa, and Tel Aviv, Israel. The Afghan market scene was a decorated set in Peshawar, Pakistan, where my friend Raz is from, while the final scenes were shot at the Fort Yuma Indian Reservation, Yuma, Arizona, USA. Release and reception, Rambo 3 opened in the U.S. on May 25th, 1988 at 2,562 theaters. In its opening weekend, the 4-day Memorial Day weekend ranked number 2 behind Crocodile Dundee. Overall, in the U.S., the movie took $53,715,611 and then took $135,300,000 internationally, giving Rambo 3 a box office total of $189,015,611. The movie is the second most successful of the Rambo series behind Rambo First Blood Part 2. And those figures again for the total is 189015611. That's a lot of money. Much like its predecessor, it was well received with the target young male audience, but not by critics. It scored a 36 on Rotten Tomatoes based on 28 reviews. Prominent critics Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert of At the Movies fame were split on Rambo 3, with Siskel awarding the film a thumbs up and Ebert declaring thumbs down. For those expecting more out of Rambo 3, Ebert did, however, giving thumbs up to fans, saying that this film was entertaining and that it delivered the goods. The New York Times took a dim view of the movie. A lot of people just think that this movie just takes too long to get to the action. I kind of agree with that. With that, but, you know, having the first two done in Technicolor, this, as David Morrell pointed out to me when he was on the show, that's why they had a certain look. The look of this one, and like, I would love to go back and watch daily cells of those old ones with the of the first two, with all the grainy stuff going on in there, the grainy image transfer. But for this one, it's like panoramic widescreen, so the look of it is really beautiful. The look alone should have won an Oscar. Wow. Awards. Awards that this movie has won. All Razzie Awards, surprisingly. Category, Worst Actor, Sylvester Stallone. Won. And nominated. Worst Screenplay, Sheldon Lettich, nominated. Worst Supporting Actor, Richard Crenna, nominated. Worst Picture, Mario Casar, nominated. Buzz Fitchens, nominated. Andrew Vanya, nominated. Worst Director, Peter McDonald, nominated. I know that they switched directors like the day of shooting or a week into shooting because they couldn't agree on what film they were making, as Sly said in the past. But I really think that Peter McDonald really did a really great job with this movie, considering he had like an hour to prepare. Like, fuck, man. So for a movie of this caliber to look this good and have this much action and the sets and it all being practical and all the arrangement that had to be done and all the stunts and everything like that, I can't see why this was a Razzie contender. I really can't. I really, really can't. Especially with Richard Crenna, because now we're getting back to Richard Crenna's action days. His Cowboys and Indian days. You know, back from the past, when you got that action Richard Crenna star. And it does, like Mickey Cardoni was telling me, it does really feel like a Western. So, other media, to link off of this, David Morrell, author of First Blood, the novel, the first Rambo film is based on, wrote the novelization for this, as we've seen here, and in the movie Twins, Arnold Schwarzenegger character is seen looking at the poster for Rambo 3 featuring Stallone, where he compares his biceps to Stallone's, but waves it off with a smile while shaking his head and walks away. Various companies released Rambo video games based on this film, including Ocean Software and Taito. In 1990, Sega released its own game based on the film for the Master System and Genesis Mega Drive. The company would later reuse the film's rescue sequence and climactic final battle as stage for the 20 stages in the 2008 arcade light gun game Rambo. I've played that light gun game. Me and my girlfriend, man, we ripped through half of that game, and we had a blast playing that. I should, I should do a review just on that. But we'll be getting to video games, I think, in Season 5 when we get to Rambo, the video game. And we're going to take a look at all the Rambo games when we get to that one. Wild Man Beyond will be here for that. And so far, my favorite game, my favorite Rambo game has to be a tie-up of the First Blood Part 2 NES. But the best Rambo game I've ever played is that Sega version that they're talking about here, the 1991. I just love that game. A comic book adaptation of the film was published by Blackthorne Publishing. Blackthorne also published a 3D version of its Rambo 3 comic. And we're going to look at the comics in the future. We're also going to look at, I think I'll give you guys a little bit of a taste of the Rambo 3, what the hell is it called? Den of Geek did a really brilliant piece on it. It's called the 1988 Rambo Children's Annual. Maybe we'll get into that in a minute. But going back here, a character in the 1986 film Texas Chainsaw 2 notes that the recording of the chainsaw murder sounds like the Rambo 3 soundtrack. We've covered that in the past when we covered our Toby Hooper interview that we did. Although at that time, there had only been 2 Rambo films. In the movie Hot Shots Part 2, which we will be getting into shortly with Wild Man Beyond, the main character played by Charlie Sheen is a parody of John Rambo. And the plot of the film is still the same as Rambo 3, which involves Charlie Sheen rescuing his mentor, Colonel Denton Walters, played by Richard Crenna, parodying his character from the Rambo series. So, I actually watched that recently with my girlfriend, and she thought it was quite funny and quite stupid.